Today's video is all about the top 5 ways to get your purchase contract accepted and buy a home in Florida. We are incredibly blessed to receive calls and texts from people from around the country and around the world who found my YouTube content, find it valuable, and they're ready to move, or at least they think they are, but they're clueless as to where they actually want to move, and they're overwhelmed by the process. And I can totally relate to that because when I was young, my family moved here from New Jersey, and I remember how stressful it was. Nowadays, inevitably, you've searched online for homes, and you're more than likely somewhat familiar with South Florida, but honestly, you don't really know where you want to be. Most people have a vague idea of where they want to be. Most people have heard of Fort Lauderdale or Miami or West Palm, but they really haven't zeroed into exactly where they want to be. So trust me when I say I know how stressful and emotional the process is. Uprooting your family from across the country is never going to be easy. And my hope in making this video is that we eliminate the stress and fear of the unknown by sharing the process from soup to nuts, so that you can feel absolutely confident about what the next steps are. Now, for the basis of this video, I'm going to assume that you are just starting out, you haven't really begun the process, and you have not hired a real estate professional. I've created another video that shows everything that you need to know once your contract has been accepted. This video is everything that happens before that process. That other video is going to play at the end of this video, so be sure to watch it next. And please stick around until because I'm going to share how it's possible to beat a cash contract, even if you're using financing, as well as how to get your contract accepted with a home sale contingency. Boom! Boom, we're live. If you're new to the channel, my name is Chris Igo. I'm a full-time, full-service realtor with an all-star team that services all of South Florida. I make content to showcase exactly what it's like to live in South Florida, and I'll occasionally add my opinion or thoughts on really anything I think will help educate or inform to help empower you to make the best decisions for yourself, for your family, and for your financial bottom line. Now, before I get rolling here, please say hello. I'm friendly. Where do you live now, and where are you thinking about moving to or living in Florida? Let's start a conversation in the comments section and tell me what you think. Is there any topic that I can answer that will provide you the most value? Let me know in the comments and subscribe to the channel. Smash the thumbs up and hit the bell too so that you never miss out on a new video. The real estate market heating up and what feels like a mass exodus from everywhere. Now more than ever, I'm getting calls and texts from people up north and from all over the country and world looking to relocate and move down to South Florida, which we absolutely love. So if there's ever anything in the world that we can do to help you, please call, text, leave a comment down below, and we will be happy to help. And please claim your free South Florida city and relocation guide by clicking the free city guide at the top of the channel in the banner or in the links down below. And we will send you one right away. It's going to tell you everything that you'd like to know about every city in South Florida. We work with lots of out-of-state buyers, and the truth is every single person that I speak to starts out a little bit nervous. Everyone has different needs. They may have a very short timeline to move, or they may have all the time in the world. It could be an investment property or a 1031 exchange with a timeline, or a vacation home or condo, or maybe even a second or third home. Everyone has different wants and needs, but the common thread is they all, at minimum, have some measure of the fear of the unknown. So just know it's totally normal, and I hope that this video helps reduce a lot of that. So step number 1 is to meet with a real estate professional. Now, I'm going to be very honest here. Getting a real estate license in Florida is incredibly easy. And unfortunately, the barrier for entry is low. Now, I'm not saying this to bash the industry or anyone in particular, but you've got to be mindful that if you get stuck with a licensed real estate door opener, unfamiliar with getting things done, you are very likely going to have a less than optimal experience. Anybody with a license can open a door. It is critical to hire a professional that has the resources to solve problems, challenges, and obstacles that inevitably will come up. If you're moving from out of state or really from anywhere, you need concierge level service and lots of experience with negotiating to insulate you from the BS so that you can focus on the more important things like your family and moving. So again, for the purposes of this video, I'm going to assume that you're at the very beginning of this process. And to reiterate, I've done another video to show the under contract to close experience and what that's like, and it will play directly after this one. So be sure to check that out. All right, so I'm going to assume you just started to look online. Step number one is to meet with a real estate professional. Now, we make that super easy by doing our first consult via Zoom as soon as possible. Now, you might not be ready to move now, and that's okay. The sooner we can meet and connect, the sooner we can learn your needs and your wants and put a game plan in place. The real estate market in Florida is insanely hot. There's very little inventory. Most homes have multiple offers, and buyers who care far less about comps than they do about getting out of wherever they currently are. The first question that most people ask me is, how is the real estate market in Florida? So I'm curious, what do you think? Is it a buyer's market or a seller's market? What's the market like where you live? Please let me know in the comments down below. Let's have a conversation. And full disclosure, the better question is, how are the markets in Florida? Real estate everywhere is hyper-local and can have very different temperatures based on what it is that you want. And the demand may be different based on what you're looking for. So for example, a 55 plus community versus a luxury 55 plus community may have very different demand. A luxury beachfront home or condo may have very different demand based on price, condition, and location. And the same is true with single family homes versus luxury single family homes, or homes in HOAs versus non-HOAs, homes with great schools versus homes with average schools. I could break this down indefinitely, but I think you get the idea. Truth is, by and large, here in South Florida, the demand is incredible across the board. To be clear, that does not mean there are not deals out there to be worked or dream homes to be found. But it does mean that you're probably best served knowing what you want in a lifestyle for yourself and your family before we go buck wild looking for a home. Now, I've been very intentional about creating content to showcase what it's like to live in certain areas. Please check out the channel to experience what it's like to live here. If there's a particular area that you'd like me to cover, please let me know in the comments down below. Our process starts with a Zoom consultation. Now, for those who know for certain where they want to be and what they want, you can skip to step 2. But for those who don't, we generally recommend that when you do visit, we allocate time to tour and showcase areas that are most likely to check all the boxes for what you want in a lifestyle. The last thing that I ever want is somebody to find a home or buy a home and then realize they don't love the area. Depending on what your timeline is, it's sometimes smart to Airbnb in areas that might be perfect. Immersing yourself in different areas is a very good idea. That being said, most areas within Palm Beach County and Broward County are relatively similar. There are obviously distinctions and closer proximity to different things, but by and large, it's a similar experience. Because we're wedged between the Everglades and the Atlantic Ocean. So you're never more than 30 minutes from the beach, 30 minutes or so from downtown West Palm Beach, 45 minutes or so to downtown Fort Lauderdale, and an hour from Miami. So air and seaport, fairly close, and traveling internationally or domestically is relatively easy. You're also only 3 hours or so from Disney World, unless you drive like me, and then it's 2.5 hours, and right about the same for Busch Gardens. And you're gonna wanna take advantage of that. My family goes a lot, so get a season pass. And the Florida Keys are roughly 5 hours away, depending on which key you're going to and the traffic situation. But the traffic can be a nightmare, and that's a story for another day. But my point here is most things are relatively close, and while there are some lifestyle distinctions, we always want to ensure that you know what it's like to live in an area and experience the lifestyle first, which makes narrowing the home search much easier. If you visit in person, we do this on a tour. And if not, we utilize technology to showcase neighborhoods and cities. A lot of our clients trust our ability to showcase an area remotely so much that they oftentimes do everything completely remotely, especially with everything that's happening nowadays with health issues. So whichever is best for you, that's what we do. Step number 2 is to meet and get pre-approved by a lender. Now, this step is critical. You do not want to start falling in love with the home that you can't afford. Knowing what you can afford prior to shopping is critical. Now, what's less known is the competitive advantage needed in this market. A pre-approval is okay, but everyone has that. A much better alternative would be a DU or desktop underwriting. A pre-approval letter is not always enough in this market. They all say the same thing, that you're qualified, providing the property itself checks out and adheres to certain guidelines. But a DU is a way to show the sellers the money. A DU goes beyond the money, which you can also provide by including bank statements. It will show your complete financial picture, including credit score. A DU absolutely gives you a competitive advantage in this market. Florida real estate contracts are boilerplate documents that default to a 30-day loan approval period. It absolutely 1000% does not take 30 days to get a loan approval. And in this market, if you're getting a loan, you've got little to no chance of getting it accepted if you do not shorten those timelines significantly in order to have a competitive advantage. 7 days is best, 15 days is max, 30 days or more, don't waste your time, you have no shot. It's critical that whichever lender you choose be able to reduce their loan approval timelines in order for you to gain that competitive advantage. Now, if you need or want a great lender, let me know and I'll be happy to hook you up. Now, during our initial Zoom consult, you will have shared with us everything that you need and want in a home and lifestyle. And this is where you're gonna go deep and share everything you're looking for. How many beds you want, how many baths you want, big open concept, modern, open, bright, whether you want a pool home, a lake home, whether or not you want an ocean view or to be beachfront, whatever amenities you want, proximity to shopping, retail, parks, schools, everything and anything. You wanna know everything from soup to nuts. Then from there, we'll send you a real-time updated search from the MLS. And the MLS stands for Multiple Listing Service. And we're going to send you properties that meet your criteria. Now, you may find properties separately or on a third-party portal like Zillow or somewhere else that has completely bypassed the MLS. And please don't feel weird about sharing them with us. We are a team. And the more that we know about what you like and want, the more refined our search will get. The truth is, nobody, and I mean nobody, is gonna do a better job of finding the home that you love than you. Let me be very honest here, it's not hard to set up a search. Anybody can do that. That's the ante. I think it's important to address the low or no inventory elephant that's in the room, or at least in the marketplace right now. So let's say you fall in love with an area, but there are no homes for sale. Does that mean you're powerless and you've got to sit on your hands with your eyes glued to the MLS, praying to the real estate gods that your dream home hits the market? Absolutely not. There are many things a professional agent can do to help find homes that aren't on the market yet. Now, I'm not going to go into a deep dive into the technology that we use to source your unlisted dream home, but trust me that it's out there, and that data gives us a powerful edge. It can also be very low-tech things: door knocking, direct mailing, cold calling, Facebook and LinkedIn stalking. I hate to use the term stalking, but in this market, we got to do what we got to do. We roll up our sleeves, we go to work, and we make it happen. A professional agent and their team should have a robust database of past clients and sphere of influence. And they've got to be a professional problem solver, detective, and therapist, all rolled into one. So don't be discouraged if your dream home isn't listed yet. There is always a solution, but it may require time and patience to source your dream home if we've got to go out there and find it. And this is why it is imperative that we know exactly where you want to live, and the lifestyle that you want is most important. And our Zoom consult up front is critical. All right, so let's assume you know exactly where you want to be, and let's assume that you find a perfect home or homes that would be perfect for you and your family to be happy and thrive and max out South Florida living. When it comes up in the search, you've got to let us know immediately so that we can jump into action. We are going to jump into action and start creating rapport with the listing agent and the seller and determine what the seller wants. Now, some of what we do is high tech. Some of what we do is very low tech. It's old school basic human connection 101. And you may be asking yourself, why is what the seller wants important? I mean, you're the buyer. Isn't that the most important thing? And yes, that is important, but both statements are true. We want the seller and their agent to fall in love with us, and we want them to fall in love with you as much as possible. So we go out of our way to be of maximum service to them right out of the gate. I think you'd probably be surprised how much being nice is a superpower in the market conditions that we're in right now. There are tiny hinges that can swing the big doors to get your contract accepted. It's an art, it's not a science. Sometimes a letter or video from you is a game changer. Sometimes it's a total turnoff. Each seller and each listing agent is different. So we've got to read the tea leaves here and just know there's a lot going on in the background to set you up for success. There are many listing agents out there that are totally fried by the volume of inquiries they're receiving on their listing. So being friendly and anticipating their needs gives us a leg up. There are some sellers that want to be out yesterday, and then there are others that have different needs. We want to know as much as possible to ensure that your contract is written up the way they want to see it in order to give you a competitive advantage. All right, I know at this point you've heard it's a seller's market with tremendous competition a bazillion times, and it's still true. What a lot of buyers don't fully appreciate is what does that really mean in terms of their ability to go out and see homes in person. Now, there was a time where it was very easy to gain access and schedule showings. I'm talking in broad strokes here, so please understand this can vary significantly by price point and location. In today's market, professional agents and many sellers are insisting on pre-approvals or proof of funds prior to allowing showings. Many are creating windows of showing availability to create a market within a market. The market is super hot on its own. So imagine the frenzy created if a new listing was to block out showings for a week and pivot everyone to an open house that weekend. It would become a feeding frenzy, right? Yes, and it is. Smart sellers control the traffic intentionally. And now with COVID upticking, they may be even more selective with their showing availability. Now, obviously, I'm not trying to talk you out of seeing homes. I share this because getting access to see homes on demand is not reality-based. So you need to be aware that you'll need to demonstrate your ability to purchase a home a lot of times in order to even be able to schedule a showing, which leads me to number 5, which is time. Now, I know I just said that we need time to schedule the showings, and I hope I don't sound like I'm talking out both sides of my mouth, but the truth is, in most cases, time is not your friend. You don't have time. So what does that mean exactly? Now, let me qualify this by saying that this is going to vary with demand and inventory. There are some areas that are hotter than others, but if you've narrowed your search to an area that you know and you love and the inventory is limited, you've got to be super aggressive. So what does super aggressive really mean? We want to get the home or homes that you think might be perfect under contract as quickly as humanly possible. So that could mean we write contracts for you to e-sign and submit them to the seller's agent and seller to get them under contract completely sight unseen. Chris, that's crazy. You can't do that. It may sound crazy, but follow my thinking here. If you found a home online and you think it's perfect for you and your family, so has 10 other families that are looking to get out of wherever they are and into Florida, and they want it just as bad as you do. Their 1000% will be somebody else, and whoever gets it under contract first precludes the rest of those buyers from buying it. So we've got to write it up, we've got to get it under contract, and then we've got to use that inspection period so that you can make your final decision. Now, here in the state of Florida, we have 15 days per the residential purchase contract to do those inspections. To be clear, most sellers will counter and reduce that timeline, but you've got the ability to cancel and get your money back within that timeline. There's no risk to you or your funds in that inspection period. So please understand, we've got to be first to win the contract, or we're very likely going to be last and a backup offer. And trust me, you do not want to be the backup offer. Now, if this is the case and we've written it up sight unseen, please understand, we're absolutely going to the property and we're going to showcase it to you as soon as possible. If you're unable to come down, we'll create a tremendous amount of content to ensure that you're 1000% certain that you've made the right choice for yourself and for your family. Between FaceTime and YouTube, we can create a very immersive experience. Rest assured that you will absolutely know the home and the area that you're purchasing in, whether you come here or not. Right, in this market, there are many buyers that are out there that are waiving contingencies and getting creative with terms in order to get a competitive advantage. In this market, there are many buyers that are waiving appraisal contingencies and getting creative with terms in order to get a competitive advantage. And I'll translate that. That means there are buyers out there willing to pay the difference in cash between sales price and appraised value. And there are other buyers out there willing to write financed contracts as cash offers in order to get their contracts accepted. Now, we've helped many buyers use both methods, and it's highly effective. But you must have total financial clarity and be very mindful of the timelines in order to fully protect yourself and preserve your options. And this is why our Zoom consult is so important. After speaking with us and your lender, we will know with certainty which approach gives you the best competitive advantage. We will absolutely make sure you are not at risk for non-performance. All right, so here's a wild card. What if you've got a home to sell first? Are you out of luck? The truth is, not necessarily. First and foremost, you've got to understand that if you've got a home to sell and you're competing against offers that don't, you're obviously at a disadvantage. So you'd need to have your home under contract and pass the contingency periods that exist in your home sale before any seller is going to take your contract seriously. But assuming that you've passed those timelines, it's not impossible to get it done, as long as you're working with the right professionals. There are methods to disclose a home sale contingency creatively, or perhaps structure your financing creatively, which will allow you to gain a competitive advantage, all of which are on the up and up. Just know there are creative solutions that exist as long as everyone involved has total clarity. And rest assured, we've helped many buyers with home sale contingencies and not the best financing terms beat the competition and buy homes in Florida. It all starts with a thorough upfront consultation. Now, I hope this content was valuable, and if so, please let me know in the comments down below. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up and smash the bell. Curious, was there anything that I didn't cover? And more importantly, are you thinking about moving to Florida? Let me know in the comments down below. We love living in Florida and suspect that you will too. But the truth is, demand is so high and inventory is so low that if you want to live here, you must contact me now. Homes go very fast. There is no time to waste. As a local expert, I typically know what's coming on the market before it even hits the MLS. And once it does, it's typically way too late to get involved. Over the last few years, we've helped hundreds of people buy and sell homes right here in South Florida, and we absolutely love it. As 40-year Florida residents, we know all the best places to fit your desired lifestyle and budget. So if you're even thinking about moving to Palm Beach, Broward, or anywhere in Florida, you've got to reach out to me. Call, text, DM, send a carrier pigeon, a smoke signal, by any means necessary, because we've got your back when it comes to moving to South Florida. And until next time,